my good golly gee, folks. Pierre LeBrun just said that. Pierre LeBrun opening up a can of worms on the weekend to give all of us hockey fans some very, very interesting fodder to chew on. Let's dive into what Pierre LeBrun wrote about on The Athletic earlier this weekend. Take a look at this. It was published yesterday, so some more Saturday night headlines here from the folks who provide us with some of the most entertaining hockey discourse on the web. NHL rumblings. Who was in on Jonathan Toews, plus the latest on Marner, McDavid, Tavares Robertson, and more. Of course, this is going to be linked in the description. It's The Athletic, it's paid for material, it is behind a paywall, so you need the subscription in order to access the piece. However, I wanted to go out there and take a look at one of the comments that LeBrun makes in this article that was going viral on Twitter. And it comes to us in the form of a tweet made by Taj. He went out there and screenshotted a very particular part of the piece, and it goes over Connor McDavid. Take a look at this. Pierre LeBrun reports that if McDavid ever leaves, there would only be a short list of teams he would consider going to. LeBrun lists the Kings, the Rangers, the Hawks, and the Dallas Stars. This is what LeBrun said in the article. Of course, there's always the small chance Connor McDavid does not think the Edmonton Oilers are set up to remain a contender and doesn't extend. I don't think that's the likeliest outcome, but it's not 100% off the table. Teams like the LA Kings, with former Oilers GM Ken Holland, are keeping a close eye. If and when Connor McDavid ever leaves, it's a short list of markets that I believe would be a fit for him. LA, the Rangers, the Chicago Blackhawks, etc. It would not be a free-for-all, with 25 teams getting a chance at it. And that changes everything for Connor McDavid, does it not? The fact that he would be, supposedly, interested in going to a variety of teams in some of the bigger markets in America, that's going to ruffle some feathers. Now, I know a lot of fans might go out there and immediately, intrinsically dismiss it. That's fine. You don't have to go out there and believe anything. You don't have to subscribe to any sort of thought process that says that McDavid is ever going to leave. And in fact, like, as we'd been talking about, maybe the odds of McDavid staying in Edmonton are the majority. Maybe it's like 75 or 80% that he sticks around. But still, you had a 1 out of 5 chance that McDavid leaves, if you wanted to say it like that. If you had a casino game that was 1 in 5 chance of winning the jackpot, your eyes would be peeled and watching that screen like a hawk. Speaking about Hawks, let's talk about the Chicago Blackhawks. Would it not be ridiculous to have McDavid and Bedard on the same team? Like, talk about the Edmonton Oilers grabbing all their first overall picks, from Nail Yakupov to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Taylor Hall, Connor McDavid. Imagine if Connor just decided, yeah, I'm just going to play with Bedard. I want to do Connor squared. Let's have that pairing going on in the National Hockey League. Convert Bedard to the wing and have McDavid Draisaitl 2.0, except Connor is a lot more nimble and quick and, of course, smaller than Draisaitl. Draisaitl plays a lot more of a heavy power sniper game with some really tight and unexpected hands. I mean, Bedard has some really good hands, too. I digress. Leon Draisaitl has the hardware to really back up more than what Bedard has accomplished so far, but still, if McDavid decides to go to Chicago, who is already on the maybe second half of the rebuild starting up here, now they just gotta wait for a lot of their pieces to inevitably become great. Levshunov, second overall pick last year. They're gonna have a top pick again this year. Who do they take? Michael Misa, James Higgins, Anton Frondel, is that an option for them? There are a number of guys that can go super high up in this draft here. But the other 3 teams that LeBrun lists here as potential McDavid destinations, the LA Kings, okay, that would be so poetic so incredibly poetic if Connor McDavid would go from Edmonton to LA. He's got to do a press conference where he's going up there with a million microphones in his face with tears in his eyes afterwards. That's the only way he has to go out there and make the transition, right? Talk about the Ken Holland thing. Yeah, okay, that's fine. But am I the only one thinking about Wayne Gretzky? I mean, the stories just write themselves. The only difference is Wayne would have been leaving Edmonton with multiple Stanley Cups, and McDavid would be leaving Edmonton with a whole bunch of individual hardware. Not that Gretzky didn't have individual hardware either, but you get what I mean. Oh boy. Would that spell the end of Connor McDavid's capability of winning a Stanley Cup? I'm thinking, though, McDavid, Kopitar, Byfield. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, that's pretty hot. Pretty spicy over there in LA. Talking about the Dallas Stars as well. I mean, no state tax. That's the immediate thought in my mind. So Matt Duchene signs a $4.5 million deal in Dallas when everybody thinks that he could get $7 on the open market. If Connor McDavid finds himself with the Dallas Stars organization, instead of making like $17 million like we all believe that he probably should be able to get, he could make like 15. He could only make like $1 million more than Leon Draisaitl per, and he will be fine because the take-home pays a lot better there in Dallas, Texas. McDavid and Rantanen, that's nuts, dude. Like, it would be like he never left Draisaitl's side. Rance and Dry kind of play similar power sniper games there. And then, of course, LeBrun also talks about the ever-so elusive New York Rangers teams. That is obviously going to be interesting to see him, Zibanejad, and JT Miller on the same squad if that goes down. Like, no matter how you slice it here, McDavid's going to be playing against some fairly significant rivals, or he's going to have some really interesting links with whatever teammates he has on his upcoming team. I mean, of course, you can doubt the legitimacy as to whether or not this is even worth talking about, but the fact that Pierre LeBrun wrote about it on an article, I'm like, that's not there for nothing, right? Right? I don't know. Pierre LeBrun, one of the insiders. Insiders like to spit out whatever it is that they're feeling, whatever it is that they're hearing. I don't doubt that Pierre LeBrun probably has reason to believe that this is worth talking about. It's why it's in the article. But at the end of the day, whether or not you believe this, whether or not you take these ideas to heart or start formulating a timeline in your hypothetical scenario mind that says that McDavid is not going to be an Oiler long term, that he is going to hold out, and that he probably either could get traded or just walk in free agency, I mean, that's how Pierre LeBrun words it. If McDavid is available, it's not going to be a full-out 31-team bidding war. It's probably just going to be a limited number of teams that McDavid gives the okay to. And I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about the Kings, the Blackhawks, the Rangers, and the Stars potentially being those teams? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.